Today I am reading Skeleton Creek by Patrick Carman. The fun facts, Ryan is writing the book in his journal, and Sarah has videos on a website to watch for extra details. Monday, September 13th, 5:30 a.m. There was a moment not long ago when I thought, this is it, I'm dead. I think about that night all the time, and I feel the same fear I felt then. It happened 2 weeks ago, but 14 days and nights of remembering have left me more afraid and uncertain than ever. Which I guess means it isn't over yet. Something tells me it may never truly be over. Last night was the first time I slept in my own room ever since everything happened. I'd gotten in the habit of walking in the hospital to the sound of a nurse's shuffling feet, the dried chalk dust smell of her skin, and the soft shaking of my shoulder. The doctor will visit you in a moment. He'll want you awake. Can you sit up for me, Ryan? There was no nurse or doctor or chalky smell this morning. Only the early train crawling through town to wake me at 5:30. But in my walking mind, it wasn't a train I heard. It was something more menacing, trying to sneak past in the early dawn, glancing down the dead-end streets haunting. I was scared, and then I was revived, because my overactive imagination had settled back into its natural resting state of fear and paranoia. In other words, I was back home in Skeleton Creek. Usually when the morning train wakes me up, I go straight to my desk and start writing down before the rest of the town starts to stir. But this morning, after shaking the idea that something was stalking me, I had a sudden urge to leap from my bed and jump on board the train. It was a feeling I didn't expect and hadn't the slightest chance of acting on. But still, I wonder where the feeling had come from. Now I've rested this journal on a TV tray, with its legs torn off, propped myself up in bed on a couple of pillows, and have started doing the one thing I can still do that has always made me feel better. I've begun to write about that night and all that comes after. Monday, September 13th, 6:03 a.m. I need to take breaks. It still hurts to write, physically, mentally, emotionally. It seems like every part of me is broken one way or another. But I have to start doing this again. 2 weeks in the hospital without a journal left me starving for words. I have kept a lot of journals, but this one is especially important for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, I am not writing this for myself. I'm putting these words down for someone else to find, which is something I never do. Reason number 2, I have a strong feeling that this will be the last journal I ever write. My name, in case someone finds this and cares to know who wrote it, is Ryan. I'm almost old enough to drive, although this would require access to a car, which I lack. I'm told that I'm tall for my age, but need to gain weight, or there's no hope of me making the varsity cut next year. I have a great hope that I will remain thin. I can imagine what this morning would have been like before the accident. I would be getting ready for the hour-long bus ride to school. I would have so much to say to Sarah. An hour next to her was always time well spent. We had so much in common, which kept us from going completely crazy in town, populated by just under 700 people. I'm really going to miss those conversations with Sarah. I wonder if I'll get lonely. The truth is, I don't even know if I'm allowed to mention her name, but I can't stop. I'm a writer. This is what I do. My teachers, parents, even Sarah, they all say I write too much, that I'm obsessive about it. But then, in the same breath, they can't help but mention I'm gifted. Like Miss Gravy told me, I understand words and their usage in the same way. A prodigy on the piano understands notes and sounds. But I have a much simpler answer, and I'm pretty sure I am more right than my teacher is. I have written a lot every day, every year for many years in a row. Practice makes perfect. I think my favorite writers are those who admit while they write they're still alive that they couldn't live without writing. John Steinbeck, Ernest Hemingway, Robert Frost. Guys who put their writing up there in the same category as air and water. Write or die trying. That kind of thinking agrees with me. Because I am here, write or die trying, if I turn back the pages in all the journals I've written in. I basically find two things, scary stories of my own creation and the recording of strange occurrences in Skeleton Creek. I can't say for certain why this is so, other than to fall back on the old age that a writer writes what he knows. And I have known fear all my life. I don't think I'm a coward. I wouldn't be in the position I'm in now if I was a coward. But I am the sort of person who overlies, worries, frets. When I hear a noise scratching under the bed, either real or imagined, I stare at the ceiling for hours and wondering what it might be that's trying to claw its way out. I picture it with fangs, long, bony fingers, and bulging red eyes. For a person who worries like I do and has a vivid imagination to match, Skeleton Creek is the wrong sort of place to endure a childhood. I know my writing has changed in the past years. The two kinds of writing, the made-up scary stories and the documenting of events in Skeleton Creek, have slowly become one. I don't have to make up stories any longer because I'm more certain than ever that the very town I live in is haunted. This is the truth, and the truth I've learned can kill you. I'm tired now, so tired I have to put this down, even if I can't stop thinking about it.